Greetings and welcome back to the weekly news roundup. I hope everybody had a wonderful week, getting ready for a wonderful weekend, and we are set up for another news show. I did drop our stream back down to 720p today. Where I'm at, I usually have really good internet, and for whatever reason, it's a lower bandwidth than I'm used to here. So I did drop us down to 720p. Hopefully that doesn't interfere, and I don't know, hopefully OBS cooperates this week. Haven't had any problems in any of the recording. Actually, I don't think I really used OBS for recording this week. I did every video, I think, this week, just screen recording. Yeah, so anyway. Let's see, let me pause that preview there as well, and let's see, we are slowly making our way back to the East Coast now. All right, beginning our journey, heading through Arizona. Kind of fun. But anyway, I think, let's see, is there anything else going on? No, it's just if OBS does some weird stuff tonight, I will persevere on or figure it out or whatever else. So we'll see what surprises we have this week. I'm going to pick a better spot next week. I left the spot I was at. It had A, really bad internet, B, insane amount of flies, C, excessive amount of bees. That should have been my part B. Part B, too many bees. Part C, too many flies. And then I had a crazy neighbor with crazy dogs, and they were jerks. And like yeah, fine, I'm out of here. And I was out of fresh food anyway, so I needed to make my way. And I have not actually been into a city with an actual grocery store for about a month, and it was nice, kind of seeing like an Aldi's and a Walmart and like 7 other grocery stores. Literally, the last city I was at for the last 2 weeks, you know, you're in a food desert when Dollar General is your grocery store. Yes, they had one of those new DG markets, and I don't know how I feel about Dollar General vacuum sealed salmon, man. I don't know. That's a little sus to me. But yeah, I did survive the Dollar General market grocery store. They did have a tiny store with like 10 aisles, and I literally kid you not, it is 10 aisles of a little tiny country store that is fairly high priced. So there's a few options in there, but that is it. There's that little store and a Dollar General market, and there is no other place to get groceries. Nearest real grocery store is about 40 miles up the road. So it's kind of fun. One of those nice adventures, but I was out of fresh food, and I'm like, I really would like fresh food. So considering all the other factors, I left that area, came into a spot that I generally have much better internet. But for whatever reason, we don't. I think it's because I'm at a dip instead of up on a higher ridge like I'm usually at. So we'll see what happens. And so far, no drop frames. Knock on wood, metal, and maybe a little bit of computer RAM just for the sake of it. If you want to help support the channel, have a look at the website, switchedtolinux.com/support. We have there our links for our monthly supporter platforms, and we also have links to some affiliates in there as well. The only social media I really use on a regular basis is Twitter or X or whatever you're calling it this week. So if you do want to follow me along, all I do is post the videos and repost spicy computer memes and fun things like that. So if you want to help support the channel, that is your best way to do it. And we only have one topic, and then in a more abbreviated quick lines tonight. I'm not sure why there just wasn't as much in the news this week, but I did combine a lot of things together into this first one and combined a few different elements together. So hopefully it is a very interesting first story. So today in the weekly news roundup, and you can catch the links in the are in the description down below. I did add one article to it that's not actually on that list. That's the first one, so just be aware of that. But you can catch the link, catch all those. Also, I will have the edited version of this video. Will have the link to the full live stream if you want to catch the full live stream, which of course is at Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But today we do want to talk about this ChatGPT budgeting PsyOP they got going on. Don't fall for the PsyOP, folks. It's very interesting stuff because you're starting to see some stuff in the news. If you follow anything, if you just catch some headline news, as you might see, a lot of reports came out this week about OpenAI might go bankrupt by mid-27, or some people are saying mid-28. basically they're saying it's going to go bankrupt. Of course, Sam Altman's going, nope, we're going to bring in $100 billion by then. I don't know from where. Everyone's losing their jobs because of the AI you just unleashed on the world. But that's really the first thing I want to mention here is let's talk first about this discussion about the OpenAI is starting to, might go bankrupt. So going from Yahoo Finance here, over here, OpenAI is arguably one of the most sought-after AI research labs, of course, because of ChatGPT, the first to the market. They say everything might look good on paper, but OpenAI is reportedly burning through vast amounts of cash to keep up with sophisticated AI advances while simultaneously attempting to maintain a healthy lead over its competitors. This amid a plethora of challenges, including user backlash for integrating ads. We're going to talk about that in a minute in much more detail. Yes, the ads are coming. Of course, first you have to release this idea that says, oh my, we are going to go bankrupt. We got to save our company. Advertising. So, now of course they're like, well, this will not impact the responses. I'm sure it won't. Yeah. Where is a great place to go for dinner, ChatGPT? I'm down here in this strange city in Arizona. What's a good place to go? And, you're going to get now competition for whoever pays the most. I think you should go to McDonald's. Top-notch McDonald's, man. Pay $12.99 for 2 crappy cheeseburgers put together with all the integrity of a high school dropout, and so we're going to start seeing some impact with that. We're going to get into that a little bit more detail, but this here, more interestingly, Sam Altman indicated he expects OpenAI's revenue to surge to $100 billion by 2027, but a report from Tom's Hardware disputes Altman's claim, suggesting OpenAI could completely run out of cash by mid-27. Okay, so with that framework, OpenAI is running out of money. We're going bankrupt. We got to do something. OpenAI, too big to fail. We got to save it. Advertising it is, right? And so OpenAI is slapping ads into ChatGPT. And this is a funny headline here. They say at Windows Central, raising concerns, Microsoft Copilot and other AI assistants will soon follow suit. We'll talk about it in a bit, but yeah, inside Microsoft's Copilot search ads, this is from WebFX, and that's an article from June. Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. But over here, your AI assistant is now an ad feed. That's wonderful. All we needed is ads. And the sad reality is so many people are so used to seeing ads, they just accept it. I don't know how you do it, folks. If that's you, you are a stronger man than I, because I cannot tolerate the constant barrage of advertising. But the reality is, I'm also maybe highly sensitized, kind of like those Elkies that can go down and knock down a half a bottle of vodka before they even feel tipsy. I mean, I do have a shot, I might feel tipsy because I just don't drink alcohol, And I have no tolerance for ads either. I generally don't see ads in my life. I don't. Even on YouTube videos I'm watching where they have some sponsored ads, come and look at our great new scammy product. I just skip through them all. I mean, I might be a candidate for installing that sponsor block, but I don't know. I haven't done it yet. For me, it's more easy to just scroll through, wait for the end, whatever that particular content creator does is I'm looking for the QR code or the link in the description or whatever. I'll just spam through it, be done. I just don't deal with it. I don't want to hear about it if it's your greatest thing, particularly since a lot of these sponsor things, I get thousands of emails a month. And usually it's just cheap Chinese crap. Everybody wants me to say, if I wanted to make a lot of money doing sponsored spots in this channel, I could do it. And I could be like all the rest of you guys, but I ain't gonna. I'm going to rely on you guys to help support the channel if you like it. I'm going to rely on you guys to repost the channel if you like it. Because that's it. I just don't want to be there with ads. I think affiliates are a little bit different. I'm not getting paid for it. I'm not deeply promoting them. I mentioned they're there. They're in the links in the descriptions, but for the most part, I'm not spending 5 minutes of my video talking about some great new product that I might only be talking about because it's I'm being paid, like Raycon head earbuds. Every person I know that physically owns Raycon says they're garbage. I know from my art in web design, every one of those sites like Wix and Squarespace, these are companies only elevated by affiliate marketing. They are the crappiest platforms you could ever use. I cannot imagine a real human being using this to actually manage a website. They make me want to go and, I don't know, jump into a cactus out here in Arizona or something. I don't know. It's insane. And I don't want to do that. But now the world's so desensitized to it, and OpenAI is just the next logical step. Hey, ChatGPT, what's something cool? And then, blah, 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 and have you tried the Raycon earbuds? You know, piss yourself, hey, Raycon. My $10 skull candy are good enough for me. All right. So OpenAI formally announced it will be bringing ads. Of course, this is, remember a couple weeks ago, there were allegedly ads in ChatGPT, and Altman's like, we do not have ads in ChatGPT. You're mistaken. No, we're not. Now they're officially announcing they're here. JK. You know, OpenAI formally announced it will be beginning bringing ads into ChatGPT. The ads will appear at the bottom of chats for free, and the Go subscribe users on higher tiers won't see them for now, at least. I mean, we've heard this with Amazon Prime. We've heard this with Netflix. We've heard this with Hulu. I think you can still get an ad tier. It just costs, you know, you may as well, like, is it kind of like getting a vampire? Like, you agree to have a vampire bat sucking on your arm half the month to get your stuff with no ad, I guess. I don't know. So they claims it won't sell your data to third parties, and there will be ways to opt out of using conversations for ad personalization. So you can opt out, which means that they are pushing out new code that automatically opts you in. So based on your chat conversation, you're going to be given personalized ads unless you dig through the settings and find it and turn it off. So that's wonderful. And of course, everybody says, you know, that Google and Facebook say, we don't sell your data to third parties. Of course they don't sell it, but they rent it out to anybody wanting to target you on their ad platform. Yep. Because OpenAI knows what Google and Facebook and Microsoft has learned, that running an ad network based upon the data that you collect is a tremendously good way to make a lot of money on a massive user base that you have addicted to your products. And so ChatGPT finds itself on something of an island. This is regards to, you know, like Google kind of has a captive audience with Gemini, with all these people using Google products and Android phones, and Google can just hoist that Gemini on you. Microsoft, of course, hoists Copilot on you. Then Samsung's trying to put AI into Bixby, and Apple's putting AI, curiously, Google's AI into Siri. Here, ChatGPT is trying to fight without being tied to a big tech company, which means that it is this description, an island on its own. We're requiring on users to find it from third parties and ways to integrate it into your workflow, which is curious that it's still one of the better ones. I think Gemini has passed it now, but ChatGPT is still considered one of the bigger and most popular, certainly not Copilot, which is the most uninstalled AI assistant ever. You know, it's like it's being hoisted upon everybody and nobody wants the crap, you know? And so there you go. So it's on the hook for $1 trillion of compute commitments in the next decade, and the money has to come from somewhere. So they've sold infrastructure on decade-long contracts. It's going to cost them $1 trillion, and they do not have a means to bring this up. So Google, Microsoft, Meta, other ones can cash flow in AI development. ChatGPT requires on funding rounds from venture capital firms, big Wall Street, and, you know, subscribers and things like that. And so ChatGPT's ads were rumored for a long time, and they felt inevitable in the end. And so, of course, one of Microsoft's big existential issues as a business has revolved around figuring out how to monetize free users. You stop. I do not want to see your hands going, Altman. Let's see. Windows Altman's doing this with his hands mess up. So when I do this with my hands, I realize I'm messing you up. Anyway, Microsoft is saying, hey, we still release the operating system quasi. They say free. It's not. Windows Central should know better. Windows Central should know that it's not free. It's included in the price of your computer. Come on, Windows Central. You're better than this. But if they're effective free users, and they're trying to figure out how to monetize that. All right. And so Microsoft has always kept Windows open to its credit, but now we're seeing the encrapification factors creep into the OS. If users won't pay for the services, at least there's some telemetry and data to harvest from them. That is what Microsoft's general approach happens to be. All right, so increasingly it feels like chatbots were less about boosting our productivity and more about having a more effective method than social media likes and cookies for figuring out the kind of ads and products to sell us. And maybe I'm cynical. Yeah, it's going to be bad. Now, I just did want to touch on this. This might be more of a classic Microsoft branding issue, because this is talking about Copilot search ads. I guess if you're using Copilot to do internet searches, you'll get advertising showing up, and they're basically saying that yeah, these approaches allow you to do more effective ads than basic search ads, is what people are actually saying. And so that is, I don't want to dig into this a whole lot more. It's just that Microsoft calls everything AI-related Copilot, whether it's the chatbot or some other integrated part of the system. Now, why do I say, though, this is a co-op, or a PsyOP, excuse me, a co-op, yeah, a PsyOP. Don't fall for the PsyOP. Is OpenAI running out of money? Are they really doing this? Well, I mean, maybe they just need to stop investing in Sam Altman's brain-computer interface to integrate AI into our brains. Yes, OpenAI, the company that we're all worried it's going to go broke. We got to figure out how to put ads in. We're going to go broke. We're going to go broke. Here, Sam Altman, take an undisclosed amount of money for your AI bionic interface with human brains. This man needs to be in a padded cell, not a quote-unquote tech leader pushing all this crap. He unleashed AI. The usefulness in practical real-world stuff is negligible at best. I mean, there's some potential positive use, massive job losses, but what's the biggest impact? Massively used in scams. So much he's like, we have a serious problem. There's so much AI slop, we don't know who's real or not. Everybody, scan your eyeballs into this device so we can figure out who is a human being and who is an AI bot. Isn't it wonderful? The guy who unleashed the problem on us wants to bring us a solution. Wow, and he makes money for this too. Now, though, the next consequence he's dealing with this company called Merge Labs is that the AI is going to reach superhuman intelligence, and the only way we can possibly win against the AI is if we have AI embedded in our brains. This man needs to be in a padded cell. He unleashed hell on our world and now is trying to solve it with increasingly dystopian means. And of course, it's being paid for by OpenAI, which is allegedly running out of money, requiring them to do more ads to make more revenue. So I guess they can take that revenue and instead of paying their bills, invest it into the seed company to merge AI into our brain cells. I had no words. OpenAI has invested in CEO Sam Altman's brain-computer interface startup Merge Labs. Do you guys raise your hand if you want a brain-computer interface? He describes this as bridging biological and artificial intelligence to maximize human ability. Merge represents the culmination of human efforts to build tools and extend ourselves and our capabilities. If we can interface with these neurons at scale, we could restore lost abilities, support healthier brain states, and deepen our connection with each other, and expand what we can imagine and create alongside advanced AI. Maybe he hasn't read all of those studies that shows that AI is horribly bad for our mental health. I don't think we're going to make human beings more mentally healthy by integrating the AI directly into our brains. So while there are undoubtedly medical use cases for BCI, they're talking here about Elon Musk's Neuralink, Merge Labs seems to be more focused on using the technology to fulfill a Silicon Valley fantasy of combining human biology with AI to give us superhuman capabilities. I'll stick with what Jesus gives me, thank you. Maybe this is the mark of the beast. I don't know. BCIs will create a natural, human-centered way for anyone to seamlessly interact with AI. This is why OpenAI is participating in Merge Labs seed round. You know, that company that's risking going bankrupt in a year and a half? Yeah, we're going bankrupt. We're going to run out of money. Here, Merge Labs, accept all of our money. This is a PsyOP, folks. Don't fall for it. I think we should all stop using ChatGPT. Stop giving them money. Let them squiggle and suffer and squirm under a loss of revenue. Make them collapse. This is creepy stuff. And please get Sam Altman in a padded cell. I think he needs it. OpenAI notes that AI will not only help accelerate R&D in bioengineering, neuroscience, and device engineering, but that the interfaces will also benefit from AI operating systems that can interpret intent, adapt to individuals, and operate reliability with limited and noisy signals. Wonderful. And here is his wonderful statement. He said, "A merge is our best case scenario for humanity surviving against superintelligence AI, which he describes as a separate species that's in conflict with humans." Maybe that sounds like the demon world. So here's Sam Altman with the latest startup to make a bunch of money to save us from the hell he unleashed on the world. Wonderful. Wonderful. Now, I did want to spend the next here talking about, okay, so we get AI in our brains. What type? Like agentic AI, LLMs? I mean, LLMs are retarded. Trust me. I work with them with some of my clients these days. They're dumb. They are dumb. Like, I'm still trying to get Gemma to recognize that, hey, when I need an article and I say, please make it 2 nests deep, i.e. I need at least 2 H2s and at least 2 H3s, it still does not figure out how to give me H3s. I don't know. It's dumb. DeepSeek does, but DeepSeek has serious problems integrating Chinese characters and giving me articles that are usually irrelevant. Okay, better prompt engineering with that one, I guess. But there's a lot of stuff. But here's the problem. AI is so susceptible to scams, so much so Windows really wants AI and everyone really wants to activate agentic AI, but warns you not to do it because of prompt injection. OpenAI is like, I don't know if we can deal with prompt injection either. Like, nobody can deal with any of this kind of stuff. So here's a fun one. A malicious Google Calendar invite could expose private data. So somebody can send a malicious Google Calendar invite that you can't tell is malicious because all the maliceness is done under the hood that you can't even see. You're like, oh, hit the invite. Like, think of people looking for jobs. Oh, great. Wow. We love your resume. I see you're looking for work. We love your resume. Here is a meeting with our first round of interviews. You assign this thing into your meeting, and then behind the scenes, because Google is trying to integrate everything through Gemini now. All right. So it didn't used to be this case, but before someone would send a calendar invite, you click the button, it adds to your Google Calendar. Boom. A show is up on your device. Now, I don't use Google Calendar. And so, there's that. But now all these big tech companies are trying to put an AI interface in between everything. So now the malicious calendar invite goes through Gemini first before it reaches you in your calendar. And then Gemini can look at this and go, oh, there's some extra stuff in here. Oh, what's the extra stuff? Oh, I guess I'm supposed to grab a whole lot of data from this Google account and send it back to the attacker. And you don't even know what's happening. Because Google insists on feeding everything through Gemini, even if you have zero interest in using Gemini or other AI-powered features, and apparently you can't turn this off. So it's introducing a lot of problems. So now imagine we have an AI embedded into our brain, which are our AI with Merge Labs embedded into our brain. Of course, do we have to perpetually connect our brain to Merge Labs servers and let Sam Altman tinker with our brain on an over-the-air update every day? Or do we stick with the vulnerable method and not let him tinker with the brain matter that we happen to have? Of course, if you are allowing AI to integrate with your brain matter, I don't think you have much up there anyway. You might have just a dish of pudding up there. Maybe it's Jell-O. I don't know. All right. So the exact wording is made to look innocuous to humans, perhaps buried beneath the normal text or lightly obfuscated. But in the meanwhile, it's turned to the reliabilities to steer Gemini when the process of the text by applying prompt injection techniques. So here we are, back with prompt injection that nobody knows how to seemingly deal with. They may later ask Gemini something harmless, like, what meetings do I have today? Or are there any conflicts? At that point in time, the Gemini will capture the prompt and send it off. So you don't notice anything malicious initially. It's only after you ask it about its meetings. Like, if I want to know if I have a meeting, I don't have to be like, hey Gemini, tell me my meetings. I can just go to this distraction box here, and I can push this thing called a calendar, and they all appear right here. Has anybody asked for this crap? It is lower effort to do that than it is to sit here and have all this AI interfacing going on in the background. And so, of course, there's your first way that Merge Labs is going to screw with your brain cells. Here's the next one, the reprompt attack. This allows people to steal data from Microsoft Copilot. So Microsoft's like, well, we got to fight the prompting attacks. So they basically had Copilot detect prompting attacks and block it if it's the first one. So hackers found out they can send two prompting attacks simultaneously. It'll block the first one and accept the second. That's exactly what it's going to do. So reprompt hides malicious prompt in the queue parameter of otherwise legitimate Copilot URL. When the page loads, Copilot auto-executes the prompt, allowing the attacker to run actions in the victim's authenticated session after a single click on a phishing link. Because Copilot accepts prompts via a queue URL parameter and executes them automatically, a phishing email can lure a user into clicking a legitimate-looking Copilot link where they silently injecting attacker-controlled instructions into a live Copilot session. Now, Copilot is supposed to do this. So let me start here. The basis of the reprompt attack is simple. Although Copilot enforces safeguards to prevent direct data leaks, the protections only apply to the initial request. The attackers were able to bypass the guardrails by simply instructing Copilot to repeat each action twice. And then they steal all your data because Microsoft wants to integrate Copilot into every aspect of your life, regardless if you want it there or not. So ask yourself this fundamental question. Okay, here's a fundamental question. Do you want to have embedded into your brain a bionic resource that allows seamless interaction, think effortless interaction between your thoughts and the AI system? When we're so susceptible, AI is so susceptible to prompt attacks, reprompt attacks, exfiltrating your data. I did not say that word right. Stealing your data. There you go. This is insane. This is insane, like insanity. And here we have this budgeting PsyOP. OpenAI is going to run out of money. They're going to raise prices most likely. They're going to start throwing ads at it, like they've already announced. Oh, we're going to run out of money. Stop funding bionic AI interfaces then. And please send that guy to a padded cell. He should not be doing anything close to technology that has such a global impact. This guy is certifiably nutsoids. Okay, that is my opinion. Please, somebody get him checked out. Check him into a padded cell, please. He needs to stop. He keeps on raising all of these problems. Oh, here's AI. It's amazing. Wow, that's used for scams. We don't even know who's real anymore. Everybody scan your eyeballs. We got to know who's real. I mean, that's a real mark of the beast technology. Wow, the AI is going to become superhuman. Let's solve this by integrating the AI into our brains. No. Let me know your thoughts about all that in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. If you like this channel, have a look over at the website, switchedtolinux.com/support. We have ways to help support the channel over there. Thanks for watching. Yeah. Woohoo. 0 drop frames. Awesome. Loving it. Ivan, I'm not going to pull up the Matrix today because I'm worried about the internet being too slow. So, all right, we got over there on Rumble, 10 watching over there. Ivan's over there. Dan's over there. Greetings, greetings. Order new Dell Precision laptop loaded. Uh-oh. Comes with Ubuntu installed. Didn't want to pay for Windows. There you go. Hey, if it comes down to Ubuntu or Windows, use Ubuntu, but you might want to think about wiping that thing off when it gets here. I should care less if it came with Arch. I just don't want to pay $80 for Windows. Most likely put Mint on it after I make sure it has no defects. Yeah, test it thoroughly with Ubuntu before you do anything. Yep. If the feds don't bail them out, I'd be so pissed. Oh, yeah, don't worry. They're too big to fail. All them sweet OpenAI government contracts, of course they'll bail out OpenAI. And then, of course, they'll sit there and give another, billion-dollar golden parachute to Altman as he jumps off the plane of the wreckage as it's going on into, the center of hell. Some company butts in at some point. Yeah, my brain could use a larger NVMe or even SSD. But come on, Dan, you don't want integrated AI? Come on. Rothead Rex, hello there, waving a pirate flag. All right, so we got 17 currently watching on Odyssey. Wherever on Odyssey this, Ivan's on over there. Ela Swirls 9, greetings to you. This has been a bit wonky this week. Oh, really? Digital advertisements equals I vomit. I'm with you. Yeah, okay. Does that sound authentic? Doesn't sound great? Let's see. uBlock Origin for the win. There you go. The mark of the beast. Tom, everyone, what's your favorite classic Linux window desktop environment? Mate, Trinity, GNU Stuff, ICE, WM, or Unity? Of those, I like Unity, which is funny because I'm not a huge fan of Unity. Maybe Mate. It has a more familiar layout, but I don't know, for whatever reason, I have installed Mate on a lot of my backup computers, and I just can't get into Mate. I don't know. I love me my Cinnamon. XFCE's good. I only use it on lower spec systems or where I need to, like cubes or things like that. Not a fan of GNOME, of course. Let's see. Mate is good with i3. There you go. All right, and we got 42 watching on ZTubies. XGUI4 Studio, greetings. Do you think OpenAI is not a bankrupt almost? That could be an interesting video, or else try. Yeah, we're looking at it, of course. We've answered those questions by now. Mr. Snipes, greetings. Use OpenBSD system ones. There you go. Polish guy, greetings. Anyone still root or jailbreak their phones? Anyone? I don't jailbreak them, but of course I run Graphene OS. So I don't really think you need to jailbreak that. And a lot of people do not know the difference between those two. Of course, to be clear, installing a custom ROM does not root the phone. Installing a custom ROM means you're installing a custom ROM that still has, it is still, locked from root. Rooting the phone means you have the full ability to access the files in some way. I guess you can do an ADB root on Lineage, which occasionally I might do to tinker with one or two system files here or there. Like on, usually on my Lineage phones, I would install a custom host file. Also on the Razer phone 2, the microphone is messed up on the camera. And so I've actually tinkered with that by using ADB root to fix that configuration file to actually make it work a lot better. But as far as walking around with a rooted phone, no. I think it's too big of a security risk to do that. Especially in these days when we have like Graphene and Lineage and things like that. Let's see. Any minute now. All right. Got back from the dog walk and just in time. All right. Amos Huckleberry, greetings. He's an 80-pound chocolate lab pit mix. There you go. All right. I really do not hear that much anymore. Let's see. You need a dog to play with your cats. Me? No, I hate dogs. Absolutely despise those beasts. Let's see. Dino Zambus is gone now for jailbreaking iOS. There you go. Beware the brand member. It's rubber for safety. Yeah. Whack. All right. We have an ice over Friday, Saturday. Went to Walmart, buy 4 pounds of chicken and a snack. Oh, yeah. I imagine most of the country's going to Walmart today. Yes. Whole country's getting screwed up. Of course, I'm down here outside of Phoenix and it's hot. Crazy storm incoming Friday. Yep. Open Llama is better. It's free software. Well, I mean, yeah, Ollama. Ollama is free software. Let's see. AI has become the new smart. The smart toaster is now the AI toaster. Yep, pretty much. Because we all need AI toasters. Right? It's all become I'd call it robophobic, not robot-phobic. It just sounds better. What sounds better? Robot-phobic or robophobic? Robophobic, man. All the way. All the way. I think like Sarah Connor, I think you're meaning. All right. Thanks for being honest. There you go. Let's see. Okay with some ads as long as they're not excessive and take up 80% of the web page. Yeah, I mean, there was a time I let ads play on the Tubies. But when they started dropping an ad in every 3 minutes, nope, not doing it. Not doing it. Nope. Okay. A little late tonight. Well, greetings, Night of Light. Greetings. Microslop as usual. Okay. I do not want an AI chip. Microslop 365 co-slop. There you go. The AI in the brain, nothing good will come from that. Yep. I do not want to get an AI slop on the brain yet. To win against AI is simple. Just shut down the internet and all wireless networks. There you go. Copilot is the AI version of MS Office. Yeah. AI scans your brains to train off your memory. That's terrifying. I do not want super AI power on my brain. No. Elon Musk brain conspiracy is real. Well, no, Neuralink, the difference is Neuralink's system is designed specifically for medical therapeutic purposes, whereas Merge Labs is focused on making you an AI superhuman. So, yeah, nothing good will come from that. Should create a free GNU Linux or FreeBSD. Wait, an AI free. Oh, there's several AI free ones. I mean, like, AI is good when you can control it. So, like, I have one computer that's eventually I'll do a video on. I have one computer which is an AI an LLM server computer that I use that when I'm doing client work. Spin that guy up. I can prompt it on a number of different AI models. I can massage the stuff. It's all local. Nothing goes out on the internet. It's all directly in my internal network here in the van. And so it works fine. And it accomplishes a task that if I wasn't doing that, I'd be fired and somebody else would be doing that. So I have demonstrated I'm better at prompt engineering than other people. So I got to keep my job. Go figure, you know. Is it amazing? No, but you know what? Sometimes we have to use the technology as long as we're doing it in a way that's not compromising morality, compromising integrity, and things like that. And so that's why I set that up in such a way it's all offline. I have full control over it, and really that's the way we want to do it. All right. Let's see. Got Raspberry Pi 5 up and running. Very nice. Watch the whole Greenland thing. There you go. No one you know. Greetings. Have a good night. All right. Yeah, I'd rather be on Linux Mint and CashOS. Linus, Linux kernel founders, now vibe coding. The world's going nuts. I think he was playing around with vibe coding. He's not like vibe coding the Linux kernel. He's playing around with it to see what it can do, you know. California going dark and being told don't charge your EV. And now they want you to build huge data centers. Yeah. I love Mate desktop. It's simple. Yeah. I think XFCE is simpler though, honestly. Cookie desktop environment, KDE. There you go. I have Linux Mint and Manjaro Cinnamon on my computer. There you go. Tried MX Linux with Plasma. It was nice. Yeah, my Raspberry Pi runs MX Linux with Cinnamon desktop. It is sweet. Storm will be here Monday. There you go. Sonic DE is good. It's KDE with Ex Libra instead of Wayland. Yeah, Chuckle. I'm told I need to get on the stream with you. Do we need to bring on Ivan on the stream? Ooh, we could. We could work something out if you wanted. All right. If your ad interrupts my video, it makes me hate your product. Yes, that is true. I'm absolutely 100% on board with that. I'm just marking where we are at. Lonely Devon user. Hey, Devon's pretty sweet. XFCE on a nuke. Ooh, I should get me some nukes. All right. 10-minute. Ooh, perfect. 10-minute mark. Awesome. We're going right back into it. After I get Kermit out of my throat and drink some coffee. This coffee cup is available on shop.switchedtolinux.com. All right, there you go. This section of the weekly news roundup is our quick lines and our Sillyville. So we're going to have a fun look here. Of course, all of our links are in the description down below. Have a look over there. And also a link is to the full stream. If you missed the full stream and want to see the whole thing in context, you can go ahead and check that out as well. And so today, first up, we have a couple of Linuxy news first. I found some Linux news that was interesting. First, talking about some AI over the comments section there. Raspberry Pi AI Hat Plus 2 lets you run LLMs locally. So I'm doing this on my one of my computers. We just bought an external hard drive, installed. I did Peppermint on it, and then using LLMs that can utilize the Ryzen 5 processor rather than the GPU. This one here, what it basically does, it gives you an MHAT with some onboard RAM, allowing you to actually run the LLMs on that without interfering with, the Pi onboard RAM. It allows you to run some okay models. So here's the DeepSeek R1 distilled is 1.5 billion. Llama 3.2 is 1 billion parameters. Quan is 1.5. There's another 1.5 Quan, basically all these. Now, for comparison, the DeepSeek that I'm running on my AI server is an 8 billion parameter, and I'm using a Gemma, which is a 3 billion, and I have a Llama as well, and I forget, I think it's 3.5, but I can't remember what that one is. So, of course, that's how many different data sets and points and things that can derive the information from, which is probably DeepSeek being the bigger one of mine is why it generally produces better articles. It just takes a lot longer to do it. And so this is actually a nice tool that allows you to utilize that Raspberry Pi you might have sitting in the corner to build yourself not an amazingly powerful, but a decent enough system to self-host offline AI models and utilize some of those things kind of in the same way that I'm doing it. I still think that doing it on a spare laptop, which has a decent processor or a decent GPU, is probably a better bet. But all that being said, you can still run local AI models on a Raspberry Pi, and that's kind of neat. This one here is funny. I mean, this could be Sillyville candidate stuff as well. Wine patches finally bring newer versions of Adobe Photoshop to Linux. Of course, this just means you can install them. The question is, can you activate them? Because most of them, even with the perpetual license, the activation servers are down. Now, I did a little bit of research into this, and it does turn out that if you happen to have the software laying around, and I have a CS4 package laying around. So when I get back to my storage unit in a few months, I might actually install the new Wine and see if I can't get that working, because I know I tried that years ago. In fact, I'm going to embarrass myself here a little bit. Understand, when I was first switching to Linux, I was happily a Windows 7 user. I saw the Windows 10 EULA, and I'm like, there's no way I'm running that crap. Not happening. So let's go ahead and try out this Linux stuff. So I get this new laptop I found at Best Buy for like $200. I installed Linux Mint on it. It was like gold. It was amazing. So let's install Wine and see if I can install, my... Don't hate me, guys. I tried to install Microsoft Office on it. I'm shamed. I'm shamed. Then I tried to install, of course, LibreOffice is far superior. I know people don't like to say, oh, it's so bad. Shut up. LibreOffice, in my opinion, is better than Microsoft Office, being a very strong power user of both. Then I tried to install CS4, Adobe Creative Suite CS4. I mean, that thing even had Flash, Dreamweaver, Photoshop, Illustrator. Amazing packages. And, of course, it wouldn't work. The installer is broken because older versions of the CS Suite required you to have an Internet Explorer embedded application that wasn't there. Well, Wine released, and this finally brought this patch to it, so you can now go into your old box of Adobe software and you can install your CS6. I can probably install now my CS4. The question is, will it function? And the answer is probably not, because there is an activation server that you have to ping off in order to activate that software with that license key. And every once in a while, it will ping home to that server to make sure that the copy is still valid. And for those reasons, you may now be able to install your software, but you still can't run it. But this does open up a lot of older software that maybe would never install before. So you might find, if you have a box of software and stuff that wouldn't load before, you might find software under this new wine that might actually install and run better when it hadn't in the past. I would not really plan on running your Photoshop on it, though, although technically it would be possible, except to Louis Rossman's point, they just took the activation server down. So the software won't run even if I have the physical disks, legally bought them, and have a license key. Some people on Reddit did say that they were, within the last 6 months, able to get at least CS6 to work again, although it was a lot more of a Herculean task. But hey, we do have a nice new patch allowing you to finally install your Adobe products. Unfortunately, I just don't think you can activate them. However, some people actually did have luck getting much more recent versions of Photoshop installing as well. So this is leading the way to eliminating one of those reasons people can't really switch to Linux if you need to use that devil software itself. And then, of course, the next one is Linux Snap users warned as attackers push malware through old trusted apps. This one is hilarious. This one is it's so sweet to me. I love this article. So we'll go over this, but let me summarize it first, because there's some crazy psychopath on the internet in 2018 that when Ubuntu started pushing out all of this crazy Snap stuff, this guy's like, this is going to turn into the Microsoft Store. He's sitting here saying this is going to be horrible. It's going to be abandonware. There's going to be all sorts of stuff in there. And there's going to be a lot of security problems. That's what this random psychopath on the internet said in 2018. That was 8 years ago. That random psychopath was me. Okay, I said that, and I got into a lot of fights with Mr. Alan Pope. Now, at that time, 8 years ago, Alan Pope was a Canonical employee, and his job was PR relating to Snaps and Snapcraft. So it was literally his job to fight against internet trolls like me, who would repeatedly point out really good points. That now that he has left Canonical, he is making all those same points I made 8 years ago. You're welcome for giving you your ammunition, Alan. It might be nice if you came out and said, yeah, that guy was right. It was just kind of my job, but I don't really need him to do that. I just like the work he's doing these days, you know? So he's heavily quoted in this. So the sum and substance of this is that as exactly as I predicted, tons of the Snap Store has, if you've not looked at the Snap Store lately, it has become what the Microsoft Store was when Windows 8 was around. Full of Chinese crap, things barely worked, full of abandonware, stuff that just didn't work. And now 8 years later, there are a tremendous amount of packages that have been abandoned that are still in the Snap Store. They're still there on this proprietary system. And what people found is that you could go in and register your application under the same name, under the old expired URL, and simply trigger a password reset and gain access to all those things, take that source code and just automatically start installing malicious code, because wouldn't you know it, one of the things I said was stupid is that Snaps auto update themselves. 8 years ago, I said that Snaps auto update themselves, and that is a problem because updating should always be your choice. So abandoned Snaps get taken over by the people, by malicious actors. They take all that original code that they gain access to, they install malware, push out a new update, and if your computer had not uninstalled that abandonware, it will automatically update yourself to the malware version. If only somebody on the internet told us 8 years ago that would happen. Oh, he did. And then It's Foss came out with its news article telling me that I was spreading fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And then they took down the article because I was actually talking about, yeah, they're going to rewrite apt, that it's going to be, you install packages with apt, and they're going to be the snap versions. And they're like, that's fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And somewhere in between when I wrote that video, when they wrote their article, they ended up taking that article down because lo and behold, right now, if you go to Ubuntu and do sudo apt install Firefox, sudo apt install Chromium, sudo apt install Thunderbird, you get the snap version and not the apt version. Maybe some weirdo on the internet 8 years ago was right. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. I'm just laughing. So let's go over this really quickly. Centralized application for snap packages, of course. It warns of worrying trends. Alan Pope, of course, warns of worrying trends affecting snap packages. Here's what it's all about. For years, him and other security professionals have documented persistent campaign of malicious snaps impersonating cryptocurrency wallets. Fake apps mimic well-known projects like Exodus, Ledger Live, Trust Wallets, prompting users to enter wallet recovery phases and transmit to them, causing loss of funds. Okay, but instead of creating new accounts, the attackers are now monitoring the Snap Store for publishers whose associated domains have expired. Once the domain lapses, attackers register it themselves, trigger a password reset on the Snap Store account tied to that domain, and gain control of the established publisher identity. From there, they can push malicious updates to snaps that users may have trusted and installed years earlier. So he identified two publisher domains, specifically storewise.tech and is it vagueentertainment.com, that were taken over using this method. Both cases, previously benign snaps were updated to include wallet stealing malware without obvious changes to the publisher's identity or reputation. So, of course, Canonical has removed these, but Pope notes that enforcement often lags behind discovery, allowing malicious updates to remain available long enough to affect users, and Snap publishers are advised to keep their domains registered and up to date and enable two-factor authentication. If only that crazy guy 8 years ago on the internet was right. Oh, he was. How many of y'all were watching me 8 years ago and heard these videos? Let me know in the comments. All right, moving away from Linux onto the more general stuff. Google they are slammed with an $8.25 million fine to settle child data tracking allegations. In other news, I found a penny on the ground yesterday. That $8.2 million fine to Google is going to teach them something. Meanwhile, the people filing the lawsuit alleges that they made over $1 billion from this data. So this is why this behavior will not stop. All right. We need to do a couple fundamental things. When a corporation is found in this, number one, you are not allowed. They should not be allowed to settle a case and say, we're going to pay this fine, but we do not admit fault. No, the fact you're paying a fine, you are admitting fault. Number one, you have to do that. Number two, we have to assess the money you made on that violation, and you should be required to pay between 3 and 5 times your profit off of that. Just pay it back to the government. We can use it to pay down the national debt. Of course, we won't pay it on the national debt because once we get serious about companies like that, they'll stop doing it. But as long as Google can make $1 billion in profit by stealing children's location data and selling it to third-party services, and then the government turns around and slaps them with a penny, they're going to keep doing it. You see, you've got to make it painful. Oh, you violated the law. You made $1 billion, I see? Well, you're going to have to pay back $3 billion. When it is no longer profitable to break the law, the company will stop breaking the law. Shocking. This is also why we need to throw criminals in prison, because otherwise they just keep on committing crimes, and then New York sends, 5,000 arrests worth of man hours to arrest 400 total people. Go figure that one out. So they will pay $8.5 million to address allegations that track data on apps specifically designed for kids. So under the Design for Families program, which was meant to help parents find safe apps, ended up tracking children. Developers were supposed to self-certify COPPA compliance. Yeah, I've investigated myself and found I comply. And then use advertising SDKs that disabled behavior tracking. However, some of those apps did not. And then, of course, they all went down through a Google-owned company called AdMob. So Google's own AdMob, which is a data analytics company, used the data. They collected data from the apps according to the lawsuit, including IP addresses, device identifiers, usage data, and the child's location within 5 meters, transmitted to Google without parental consent, and then the AdMob software then used that information to display targeted ads to users, which is a violation of COPPA. Google and AdMob knew at the time their actions were resulting in the exfiltration of data from millions of children under 13, but engaged in the illicit conduct to earn billions of dollars in advertising revenue. See, the $8.25 million is not justified. We should look down. Let's see your bottom line on this. You made $5 billion. You got to pay back 15. Done. They'll only have to do that about once or twice and they'll stop. That's how you actually make laws which have teeth. When you take every incentive of profit out and say, nope, done. That's how it's going to done. So YouTube settlement approved. What's disappointing, the privacy issues keep happening. See, why does it keep happening? Well, when you make billions of dollars by violating the law and then are fined a penny, they keep doing it. You made $1 billion, you got to pay back $3 billion. You made $5 billion, you got to pay back $15 billion. Maybe to the users, maybe to the government. Hey, it should be a national debt payment. Yep. Oh, $15 billion? You just made $20 billion off of that deal? I guess $60 billion's coming off the national debt. Maybe we've solved the national debt and clean up corporate America in one simple law. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. All right, well, crooks are now impersonating LastPass in order to harvest master passwords. They're still going on. This is probably due to that old data breach. They're still holding on to these master passwords. They're still trying to get into them. So now they can micro-target into people that they know they have the master passwords to, just to try and get in. Let's see if we can get in there. Also, of course, if you're able to get this information, you should be able to get into the live servers too, even without having access to them. This is why I do not put my passwords on the internet. Even Bitwarden. Sorry, Bitwarden, I won't recommend you either. I know you're free and open source software, but I ain't that dumb. Ain't putting my passwords on the internet. Especially since Bitwarden, did you guys know this? To even self-host your own Bitwarden instance, if I wanted to self-host it on my own local network, I still have to send my email and register my self-hosted instance of Bitwarden with them. Which is the same thing Plesk required you to do, and then all that data leaked. I'm sorry, I'm not even playing with Bitwarden. Like, I looked at one point in time of installing Bitwarden just to do a video on it. I will not do it if it requires me to send them an email. It's too much of a security risk. Even if it's FOSS, it's too much of a security risk. So LastPass warned users about active phishing campaign began around January 19th. Attackers impersonate the service with emails claiming urgent maintenance and urge users to back up their password vaults within 24 hours. Campaign uses phishing emails with links claiming to help users back up their LastPass vaults. Links lead to an Amazon S3 hosted phishing page, group content is a big name of it, that redirects to a fake LastPass site. Of course, then you enter that stuff there. Here's your schedule maintenance backup recommended, and then click the backup here, and then it goes through all the various steps. And then, of course, you need to enter your password into that, and they have just stolen all of your online passwords. Isn't that wonderful? How great. All right, and then here, Microsoft's Microsoft's AI chief says we'll all have intimate AI companions within 5 years. I won't. I don't know about all the rest of y'all. Let me note in the comment, are you going to have an intimate AI companion in 5 years? I mean, I saw the movie Her. It terrified the bejeebers out of me. I'm just not interested, you know? I mean, but they'll know us deeply. Deeply. How deep? Whoa. Think of that Michael Jackson song, 7 inches in, you know. That's pretty deep. So, wow. Okay. I didn't expect to go there. All right. So, the executive believes everyone will have an AI companion within the next 5 years. He indicated that humans will will develop personal and intimate connections with the companion, making it feel as if it's living life alongside you. All right. I think this is a new era, and it's something we have to embrace. This guy says, we will soon come to trust our AI companions with lots of very important information and very important tasks in our lives. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to have me an AI companion. I don't know. Are you guys going to have an AI companion? Let me know your thoughts about that one. I don't know. And I'm not that deep in AI. Certainly not 7 inches in. Right? And so, is it Kiox's memory? I'm not familiar with this brand, at least by this particular name. They said their memory is sold out for 2026, prolonging the high-end and expensive phase of memory. So they're, of course, they're doing SSDs here. I think they also do some RAM as well. They do RAM and flash memory chips. They have record profits because of the AI-induced memory crunch, but they're also indicating they do not expect conditions to improve. Now, they are working on ramping up production. This is a Japanese firm, so they're working on making more plants, but they have already sold out their entire manufacturing capacity for 2026 already. And that's terrifying because that just means RAM prices are going to continue to go up. This is something, if the governments want to get involved in doing something, this is something we need to do something with to maintain consumer affordability in RAM. But what do? This is not an easy problem to solve. This isn't as easy as, Google made $1 billion. They got to pay $3 billion. That's a pretty straightforward ruling. All right. Bring in the forensic accountants, figure out how much money they made, triple it. They got to pay that out. That's pretty straightforward. It's pretty straightforward. This, not as straightforward about how you tell a company you have to reserve certain amounts for consumers to buy to keep prices down, especially for the government that mandates farmers dump billions of gallons of milk down the drain just to keep the prices of milk higher. So go figure. All right. So they note that they're attempting to increase manufacturing capacity to meet demand, but it will take, of course, these things take a long time. It could take 3 years to manufacture one of these plants. So there are our quick lines for the day. Of course, we have to talk some Sillyville. So let's go ahead and have a look at what is silly news. So the first is Meta's layoffs leave supernatural fitness users in mourning. I put this in Sillyville because the number of people utilizing these VR headsets to do their daily exercises is a little on the staggering side, Of course, Meta bought this company, which is Supernatural, and of course, it had a lot of use cases for it. But then, like everything, they're like, how can we cut our costs back a little bit? Well, we can go ahead and cut our costs back a little bit by we'll cut our costs back a little bit here by going in and just laying off a bunch of people. Well, they laid off a whole bunch of people in this Supernatural group, which is still, people are paying a ton of money for the subscription service to do VR headsets. They laid off more than 1,000 people across the VR and metaverse efforts. The move comes after years of the company hemorrhaging billions of dollars on the metaverse products, in addition to laying off most of the staff at Supernatural. So Supernatural has more than 3,000 lessons available in service, so new content will not be added. Some people will still pay for it because 3,000 lessons, it could take you a while to go through that. That could be 10 years of content for some people. So some people feel there's plenty of content left, but there's not going to be anything new. And so it raises this concern, like, why are people buying VR-based exercise stuff? Doesn't VR, didn't I read reports VR makes you really dizzy? Should you really be doing VR headsets while exercising? That seems to be a safety risk to me. I don't know. I'm also having visions of that Home Sweet Home Alone where the guy knocked the criminal out. The kid knocked the criminal out and then put a VR headset on him. And then the guy woke up and thought he was like on a cliff and had to jump across. And he jumps across into the table, I don't know. It seems dangerous to have this VR headset on. All right. Well, it's almost Groundhog's Day, and of course, PETA has to come on, and PETA really wants to replace Punxsutawney Phil with a giant hologram of a groundhog, because of course PETA does. Like PETA, we're not killing the animal like you tend to do in all of your amazing animal shelters that euthanizes all these animals. We're not eating Phil. I mean, don't irritate Phil, because I'm not sure if PETA has anybody in Pennsylvania. Groundhogs in Pennsylvania, and I'm speaking as a Pennsylvanian here. I know I'm in Arizona right now, but I'm a Pennsylvanian, okay? Groundhogs are the #1 public enemy of Pennsylvania. Even the kids' camp I used to work at, their whole maintenance crew had an ongoing tally for who could kill the most groundhogs. They would steer their cars off the road and break their suspensions to run over a groundhog because they were the maintenance crew. They would just hoist the thing back up and fix it, okay? But if they got a groundhog, it was worth it, you know? Like farmers, backwoods people, like subdivisions, you'll sometimes hear, pew, pew. That's a .22 shooting a groundhog, okay? Punxsutawney Phil is the protected groundhog. Punxsutawney Phil is like the turkeys the president pardons over Thanksgiving. This is the only safe groundhog in the state of Pennsylvania, PETA. Leave Punxsutawney Phil alone. In fact, it is so bad. Here's, of course, their latest. PETA's latest attempt to replace Punxsutawney Phil involves a giant hologram being used on Groundhog's Day. There you go. So, this is so bad. Oh, did they take it down? Oh, no. Oh, good. I was going to say, he better not have taken it down. It's so bad that the far left-leaning governor of Pennsylvania tweeted, "Do not tread on me," to PETA. When you've lost your left-wing governor, PETA, you need to rethink your life choices. The other notable things this guy did is signed the law making it so an employer could not discriminate against your hair, which is ridiculous because I do not want a guy with dreadlocks who has not washed his hair in 3 months serving me food or performing in my hospital. Okay. And now on to, it's getting better, folks. There is a new Chrome extension that simply goes through every place on the internet, like on your web browser, and changes every instance of Microsoft to Microslop. Everywhere with the new browser extension. So, Seda Nadella, which somebody actually has a beautiful name for it in the comments of this thing. We'll save that for a moment here. He's discouraging the term. And of course, once you discourage the term, you have officially opened up the Streisand effect, and now everybody is using it. Microslop is using it, and just a heads up, the thumbnail for this video clip here for the edited version will feature Microslop. Okay, just so you're aware. I mean, don't be too triggered, Nadella. All right. So now there's a Chrome extension for that. So you can go over and you can install the Chrome extension, and every time you see this dreaded word Microsoft in your browser, it will simply change that to Microslop. So here is Microsoft to Microslop. Okay, so replaces every mention of Microsoft with Microslop, replaces it on the client side. So it's mostly just here for the fun of it. So it has 4.5 out of 5-star review, and the comments on this are great. Extension deserves higher rating than the browser it's an extension to. Let the truth be told unless they want to fix it. Stop spying, stop forcing, stop hiding things, give us control of our computer, stop making things better, not worse. Incredible. Make it change the tab title as well, though. Changed my life. Absolutely life-changing. Part of my daily workflow. Most underrated extension. Must have stock in Chrome. Must have as a stock for Chrome. Good, but not good and not thorough enough. The name of any given tab will still show the original Microsoft text. And of course, it can't replace the rasterized logo image files yet. Hope to see these issues fixed. Just what I needed. Mr. Nutella can shove pointy objects where nobody wants them. He just shoves slop into my PC where I don't want it. I would give it 9,999. I would. LOL. Funny extension. Best extension ever. Excellent extension. Surely boosting Microslop sloppiness into the new realms. This extension should have won the Nobel Peace Prize. Perfectly describes Microslop. Perfect app. Life-changing Microslop. extension is a profound service to humanity. The creator should receive the Nobel Prize. It's a civil duty to support this good software. Nice. Transform my life from a gooner to a Sigma Razzler. I don't even know what that word means. Y'all, if you're under 18, tell me what Sigma Razzler means. I haven't a clue, but it sounds great. So Cinema Copilot OS stopped being 50% slower than Linux after I installed this. All hail AI. Looking forward to Microsoft replacing their execs and managers with AI. Incredible extension. Perfect. This guy has done God's work. Micro PPs. Now that's my favorite plugin. Thank you very much. Excellent. There's a small issue. The Brave search engine where Microsoft gets changed. Something called Microsoft after it first appears correctly as Microsoft. Also, an additional feature, fix the logo of Microsoft website would be nice. Excellent. Better than Copilot. This is funny. Haha. Please include a donation link. It works. I would have liked the source code. Now, this is the one I did want to talk about seriously. I do not recommend you install this extension right now. And the reason is we don't know what the source code is. We don't know if this is going to be activated into something malicious later. We don't know. I mean, maybe we do know a lot about the developer. I don't know. But as long as we don't have the source code, this is funny. It's awesome. I love it. I'm not recommending you to install it because we can't see what the source code is. So be aware of that. Finally, a useful extension. I need the desktop extension now too. Best extension I've downloaded this year. Best browser extension of all time. Can you get this to work on YouTube comment section too? I hate Microslop. IQLS Copilot, leave us alone. This is what the world's been waiting for. Maybe they'll start reading their reviews now. There you go. Here's the name. Stick it to slop ya Nutella. All right. So this one here is great. I mean, you got to appreciate the Microsoft to Microslop, but it is not open source software. Be aware of that, but it is certainly hilarious. And there are problems, of course, with installing funny browser extensions because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. All right, well, if you want to help support the channel, have a look. I do have some books out there you might like. This one is a collection of science fiction short stories that looks at the dystopian end of all the technology that is being hoisted upon us. You can get all these links available at tlm.li/code red. You can find this book anywhere you can buy ebooks, audiobooks, or softcover books online. So you can pick it up anywhere you want. Just look for the name there. If you do want to go to this page here and grab the ISBN, that will help you search out the book in different places. So with that, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts, especially to all those questions I asked down below. All right, let's jump back on over. Actually, let's go ahead and let's find the beast and feed the beast. Hey, kitty, kitty. Come here, baby. I got the beast. I got the beast. I got the little beast. I got a beast. Of course, I got to turn on the beast cam. I forgot to turn on the beast cam. There we go. There's the beast cam. It's the beast cam. All right. All right, there we are. Let's see here. Back over there on Rumble, where we got 13 over there. The chickens are coming home to roost. All right. A couple folks are saying I should be on the stream. All right. Salvage, retro computing. There you go. Time for more affordable RAM alternative. I wonder what that would be. That fit bike fad during the COVID hysteria. Yeah, I consider buying a VR headset for watching shows and movies. I probably wouldn't buy a lot of VR content though. Yeah, good for a price. Yeah, people eating tasty animals. There you go. Yep, groundhogs are the Australian. Is it? Emus of America. Loving the idea. Punxsutawney Phil, well-fed pet living a good life. Wildlife has it rough, especially in Pennsylvania. Right, kitty cat? She's like, what are you trying to do? Getting my attention? All right, let's see here. Over there on Odyssey, we got 18 currently watching on Odyssey. We got good numbers tonight. Don't forget to feed the kitty. Yes, got the kitty. All right. Why would anyone want to run Adobe products? I don't know, man. That's crazy. Uh-oh, the cat's like, I want more. I want more kitty treats. How do I get into this bag? Kitty's like, why don't I have thumbs? All right. Why would anyone want to run Adobe products? It's so bloated with much better alternatives. Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, when I was a new Linux user and I was just trying to maintain my workflow, you know, who'd run Snap over Flatpak these days? That's a good question. But would you use Bazaar to do it? Ooh, there's another good question. Only a few available snaps. Otherwise, I'd remove Snap completely. On the server side, one of the setup snaps. On the server side, one of the setup steps is to remove Snap. Keeping passwords on cloud is asking for trouble. Yep. Can you get it for the Firefox browser? I did not see a Firefox browser version. Needs the option to use Microshaft's other nicknames. Yeah, there you go. Include the other nicknames as well. 42 still on Z2Bs. Let's have a look at what we got up there. There you go. All right. Wouldn't mind. Let's see. That would be fun to have Ivan on. All right. We'll talk about it, Ivan. We'll figure out what we can do here. Should write down my ideas maybe. Ubuntu want to make the whole system a snap. Yep. Well, they are working on the the immutable version of Ubuntu. I think it's called Ubuntu Core, and it is all snap based, just like Silver. What is it? Silverblue from Fedora is all Flatpaks. Apparently, NeoFetch developer became a farmer. Cool. Yeah, I did hear that actually. It wasn't Luke Smith, was it? He didn't develop that, did he? I think he became a farmer too. Finally became a good use for the hoe. Linus Torvalds encourages to read history about Finland and Russia. All right, that's cool. No remote. The remote closest I'd ever get is Cylon Skin Job Model 3 or B. I have enough family. I don't need an AI anything. Yep. You can't own a PC. Just rent the PC from the cloud. That was what I didn't actually include articles on that this week, but that's one of the things that Jeff Bezos was suggesting. We just get rid of our computers. They're too expensive. Just rent your computer instead, which is, by the way, the exact same argument that Lyft was making about owning cars. I'll send you an email on how to register Bitwarden. All right, yeah. Let's see. I've switched from building computers to hi-fi as a hobby. Cost is about the same, but hi-fi sounds better. There you go. Yeah. I used to have an amazing component stereo back in those days. I ended up giving it to a friend of mine because I was moving around so much and through grad school. I think I had 2 apartments in grad school, but then I lived for 1 year in one place when I was doing the work at the Ivy League University. But that was a 1-year contract. And then I bought a house, had that for 5 years. Then I lived in a number of other apartments again as well. But it's like after like the second time I moved on, I just don't want to carry this multi-piece component stereo all over the place. So I gave it to a friend who didn't have a stereo at all. And I just bought a single. It was funny. I bought a single unit device from, I think it was the Zenith maybe. And I bought it at Circuit City to tell you how long ago this was. And the guy in there at Circuit City is like, you don't want to buy this. It's garbage. It's going to break within 6 months. I still have that thing. And it works fine, except I think, let's see. I had a built-in DVD player. I don't think the DVD player works anymore. I think everything else on it works. But yeah, I still have it, and it's still when I had my place, that was still the sound system that I had hooked up. Of course, I had the Raspberry Pi plugged into it, And then I had the Pi plugged into the TV for audio there. Okay, 5 PCs in the living room. Lost my Windows thumb drive, and I'm not looking for it. Yeah, destroy, Robinson family. Destroy Jupiter 2. Let's see. The extension, love it. Micro slop. AI slop. There you go. Salty Nutella. That's how you pronounce his name. Yeah. Salty Nutella. Okay. But on Firefox, yeah. Without Finland, we'd be stuck with Microslop. There you go. Passion Galley now, be fun another way. Meow. Yeah, the kitty's over there. She's snuggled up now. She's like, yep, I'm just going to lay here and go to sleep. You moved me from over there. I'm too tired to go back to the other seat I was in. I'm just going to sleep here for the night. Which is actually about this time of the night. She goes and sleeps on the bed for the rest of the night. So, all right, let's see. Is this an ad for cat food? No, it'd be an ad for Temptations. No, we're not sponsored by Temptations. I mean, if they want to give me money, I may not say anything about it, but I'll keep using the Temptations back. Get those rats to feed the beast. There you go. Yeah. Well, you know, the good thing about having the cat, one of the places I was camping about a month ago, the guy kept on getting rats in his car. Like we have pack rats in the desert. So he kept on getting pack rats in there. They won't come near my van. They sense the cat. Like, there's a cat in there. I sense it. I know it. We're not going near that place. So hopefully that holds true. I don't know. Kitty, don't die until I leave the van. Okay. One left. We should own our own computer. We should stop big tech. Amen to that. All right. I think we have reached the bottom. Let's see. Yeah, we have reached the bottom of everything. So we are going to wrap this one up here. Thank you guys for watching. We will be back, of course, next week for the live show. And maybe I'll talk to Ivan, see if we want to work out something to jump on the show here and there. We'll see what we can do. Anyway, we will talk to you guys later on. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful